hum of the starship's engines filled the corridors like a low, constant heartbeat. Lena moved carefully through the narrow maintenance hallways, her boots echoing against the metal floor. She had spent countless hours aboard ships like this one, repairing engines, conduits, and energy cores. Each ship had its quirks, and each engine presented its own challenges. Today her task was straightforward, or at least it should have been. The engine bay was tight, crowded with pipes, wires, and glowing panels that pulsed with power. Lena crouched over a damaged conduit, her tools neatly arranged beside her. Sparks had begun to flicker from a junction she was trying to stabilize. She bit her lip and carefully twisted the wiring, double-checking her calculations. Every adjustment counted. One wrong move could overload the system. A sudden shimmer in the corner caught her eye. She froze. An alien stepped into the bay. Lena had seen Kiro before. A humanoid with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with faint light and markings that glowed softly along his arms and chest. His large, curious eyes took in the machinery, then her with unmistakable interest. Lena straightened up, her mind racing. Kiro was known among the crew as playful, sometimes unpredictable but always intelligent. He had a reputation for curiosity, often poking into places humans would rather avoid. Lena took a deep breath, reminding herself to stay calm. She had dealt with aliens before, and she knew panic would make the situation worse. "Lena," Kiro said in a melodic voice that hummed slightly at the end of each word. She didn't understand the language fully, but the tone was polite, even friendly. I'm busy right now," she replied carefully. She didn't want to sound rude, but she had work to do. The engine core would not wait for explanations. Kiro tilted his head, a faint glow traveling across his skin, like ripples in water. Then he gestured to her tool belt and the conduit she was repairing. Lena realized he wanted to help. She frowned. His methods were often unconventional. Before she could warn him, Kiro moved closer, his hands hovering near the complex array of wires. In his curiosity and eagerness, he pressed lightly against her tool belt. The belt shifted and her worksuit loosened at the shoulder. Lena gasped, stepping back instinctively. Her undersuit was exposed, but Kiro's reaction was immediate. He froze, his glowing markings dimming slightly. He did not touch her again. Instead, his hands moved in small, careful gestures, showing confusion and apology. Lena's heart raced, a mixture of embarrassment and disbelief. She had trained for emergencies, for life-or-death repairs, but this was entirely unexpected. "Hey, watch," Lena started, but then she paused. Kiro's expression was sincere. He didn't understand human modesty. He only knew she needed help, and in his mind, removing barriers or interfering with the suit was a logical step. Lena took a deep breath and reminded herself that this was not a threat. Kiro was a brilliant engineer in his own right, and his species had different norms. She nodded sharply, signaling him to step back, and then focused on her work. "Follow my instructions," she said calmly, pointing to specific panels. Kiro's eyes brightened and he nodded, moving with surprising precision. His hands were delicate and exact, capable of threading wires through the tiniest spaces with incredible speed. As they worked together, Lena began to notice the advantages of Kiro's physiology. His long fingers could reach areas she struggled with, and his glowing markings illuminated the workspace without any tools. The initial awkwardness began to fade, replaced by professional respect. Despite the tension, there was a subtle humor in the situation. Lena realized that she could not scold Kiro as she would a human colleague. He did not understand the rules in the same way. Every gesture, every reaction had to be interpreted carefully. She found herself explaining more than the repair itself. She was teaching him about human boundaries, about patience, about understanding. Kiro listened attentively. His glow shifted in patterns Lena didn't fully comprehend, but she sensed understanding. It was slow, but it was there. He handed her a tool she had dropped without asking for anything in return. His expression was earnest, and Lena felt a grudging warmth for him, the kind that came from recognizing genuine effort. Minutes passed, and the repair began to take shape. Sparks ceased flickering. The conduit hummed steadily, and Lena tightened the final connections. She leaned back, wiping her brow, and glanced at Kiro. He mirrored her posture, hands clasped behind his back, watching her as if awaiting judgment. "You did? Well," Lena said softly. The words felt awkward but genuine. Kiro's glow brightened, and he tilted his head. a faint ripple of amusement or pride passing over him. Lena smiled briefly. For a creature so different from her, he had managed to grasp not just the technical task, but the human concept of cooperation. The engine bay was quiet again, except for the steady hum of the ship. Lena adjusted her worksuit, securing it properly this time. Kiro remained at a respectful distance, observing without interference. The moment of embarrassment was over, replaced by a sense of partnership neither had expected. As they walked toward the next repair site, Lena glanced at Kiro. "You'll have to learn more about human boundaries," she said lightly, though she did not sound angry. Kiro made a soft sound that Lena interpreted as agreement. He was learning slowly, and she was beginning to enjoy teaching him. The rest of the day passed in similar fashion. Kiro followed her instructions carefully, assisting in repairs, and Lena found herself explaining both technical procedures and human customs. At times the conversation was silent, with gestures and shared glances replacing words. It was a new kind of communication, one that bridged species differences and built trust. By the time the day ended, the engine bay was fully operational. Lena felt a sense of accomplishment not just for the repairs but for the unusual partnership she had formed. Kiro had proven that even across galaxies beings could understand and support each other. In the observation deck, Lena and Kiro looked out at the stars. The nebula stretched in swirls of color, casting a soft glow through the windows. Lena felt a quiet connection, the kind that grew from shared experience and mutual respect. She realized that initial embarrassment had turned into learning and understanding. Kiro was still strange, still alien, but he had shown loyalty, skill, and a willingness to adapt. As the ship moved forward, Lena allowed herself a small smile. The day had been unusual, challenging, and at times uncomfortable, but it had also been illuminating. She had learned something about aliens, about teamwork, and about patience, and Kiro had learned in his own way something about humanity. Their journey through space was just beginning, and Lena knew that with allies like Kiro, even the unknown could be navigated. Differences did not have to create conflict, they could create strength. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, Lena felt ready for whatever came next. The starship moved steadily through the nebula, its engines humming like a heartbeat in the quiet of space. Lena stood at the observation deck, her hands resting on the railing as she watched the swirling clouds of gas and light outside. Kiro stood beside her, his glowing markings casting a soft shimmer in the dim room. "You seem calmer now," Lena said, glancing at him. Kiro's eyes brightened, and he gave a small nod. He had learned to read her expressions, to sense the subtle emotions humans sometimes hid. The awkwardness from earlier repairs had faded, replaced by a tentative trust that neither of them had expected. Lena turned back to the nebula. "We still have other systems to check. The ship isn't going to repair itself." She kept her tone light, but her mind was alert. Space travel was unpredictable, and any delay in maintenance could cause serious problems. They moved through the corridors together, Lena leading the way. Kiro followed closely, adjusting to the ship's layout with remarkable speed. His eyes scanned panels and conduits, noting anything that might need attention. Lena found herself silently impressed by his ability to learn quickly. His species clearly had a natural aptitude for mechanics, and combined with human guidance, they made an effective team. Their next stop was the main engine core, a vast chamber filled with humming energy coils and rotating conduits. The air was warmer here, and the faint vibration of the engines could be felt in the floor. Lena crouched to inspect a series of cooling conduits, and Kiro leaned over beside her, his glowing hands hovering carefully above the machinery. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Sparks flew from nearby panels and alarms rang through the corridors. Lena's heart leapt into her throat. "Stabilizers are failing," she shouted. Kiro reacted instantly, moving with precision that Lena could barely match. His hands darted over the control panels, activating emergency protocols and rerouting power flows. Lena worked alongside him, tightening conduits, adjusting energy regulators, and monitoring core temperatures. Despite the chaos, there was no fear in Kiro's eyes, only focus. Lena realized that his species thrived in situations that humans might find overwhelming. Where she felt stress, he felt opportunity, and his presence helped her stay calm. Minutes stretched like hours as they worked tirelessly. Sparks continued to fly, and the core's hum grew louder. But Lena and Cairo moved as one, anticipating each other's actions. Lena handed him a tool without a word, and he adjusted a conduit with delicate precision. The emergency lights cast long shadows across the room, making the glow from Cairo's markings even more striking. "You're incredible," Lena muttered between adjustments. Cairo gave a soft sound, almost like a laugh, and tilted his head. He didn't understand words fully, but he understood intent. Lena's admiration was clear. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the core stabilized. The alarm ceased and the vibrations subsided. Lena collapsed against a nearby support beam, breathing heavily while Cairo floated beside her, his glow dimming slightly as if to mirror her exhaustion. "You did it," Lena said, a mixture of relief and pride in her voice. "We did it." Cairo's expression softened. He extended a hand, not to touch, but as a gesture of acknowledgement. Lena smiled and gave a small nod, understanding the gesture. In that moment, the boundaries of species and culture seemed insignificant. What mattered was cooperation, trust, and shared effort. As they left the engine core, Lena found herself reflecting on the day's events. The initial embarrassment in the engine bay had seemed monumental at the time, but now it felt trivial compared to what they had accomplished together. Cairo had not only helped repair the ship, but had also taught her something important. Understanding and respect could bridge even the most profound differences. They made their way to the observation deck again, seeking a moment of quiet after the chaos. Lena looked out at the nebula, its colors swirling in a mesmerizing dance. "You know," she said, "space is unpredictable, but working with you makes it feel manageable." Cairo's glow pulsed softly. He understood her words in a way that went beyond language. Through gestures and expressions, he conveyed agreement and something else. Perhaps curiosity, perhaps admiration. Lena felt a warmth in her chest, a rare and comforting feeling of connection. For the next few hours, they performed routine checks on other systems, moving efficiently through the ship. Lena explained human protocols and the importance of certain safety measures. Cairo absorbed every word, demonstrating remarkable memory and understanding. Each task completed strengthened their partnership. Later, Lena took a moment to rest in the lounge, sipping a warm drink. Cairo joined her, hovering nearby. He mimicked her gestures in his own way, attempting to learn how humans relaxed after a long day. Lena chuckled softly, realizing how much patience she would need to teach him about social norms, and how rewarding it would be. As the ship glided silently through the nebula, Lena considered the future. She had been wary of Cairo at first, unsure how to handle the cultural differences. Now she felt a sense of partnership she had never expected. In Cairo, she had found not only a skilled engineer but also a companion who challenged her assumptions, taught her patience, and revealed the value of cooperation beyond her species. The stars stretched endlessly outside, and Lena felt a profound sense of purpose. Space was vast and full of unknown dangers, but she no longer felt alone. Cairo's presence was a reminder that even in the far reaches of the galaxy, understanding and trust could form bridges between the most unlikely beings. By the end of the day, Lena and Cairo had completed all necessary repairs. The ship's systems hummed smoothly, and the lights glowed steadily. Lena allowed herself a quiet smile, appreciating the calm after the storm. She glanced at Cairo, whose markings pulsed softly, reflecting a sense of contentment. "Tomorrow," Lena said lightly, "we'll start on the external hull inspections." Cairo tilted his head, responding with a gentle hum. He was ready just as she was. Together, they would face whatever challenges the ship and space had in store. The nebula continued to swirl outside, brilliant and beautiful, as if celebrating their success. Lena felt a rare sense of harmony, not just with the ship, not just with her work, but with the extraordinary alien at her side. In that moment, she knew that this partnership could endure any test. And as the starship drifted onward into the unknown, Lena understood something vital. The greatest discoveries were not just in new worlds or alien phenomena, but in the bonds forged between beings willing to understand each other. Cairo had shown her that courage, intelligence, and respect transcended species. Together they were stronger, capable of facing the vast and unpredictable universe ahead. The quiet hum of the ship, the soft glow of Cairo's markings, and the infinite stars outside the observation deck were all reminders of the journey yet to come. Lena felt ready for it, confident that no matter what lay ahead, she and Kira would face it side by side, and so the starship continued through the nebula, carrying two unlikely allies who had learned that even the strangest beginnings could lead to extraordinary partnerships. They moved forward not just repairing a vessel, but building a connection that no force in the galaxy could break.